Let's talk about supreme grade blades, and I'm making this video because we've recently gotten the reveal of two swordsmen that are currently wielding supreme grade blades, and I wanted to talk about every single supreme grade blade user that we know and try to speculate some of the rest. The term Meito is used for a blade that is given a name. These blades are typically quite famous and powerful and are ranked by the grade of their quality. It's important to note that while most Meito are swords, a great variety of blades fall under this term, as well as non-bladed melee weapons like polearms and clubs. Some of these blade ranks include grade blades, skillful grade blades, great grade blades, and supreme grade blades, with a lot of weapons having unknown ranks as well. I also wanted to talk about Zoro and Tashigi because of their relation to the supreme grade blades. Starting with Zoro, he currently has 3 swords including Enma, the Wado Ichimonji, and the Shodai Kitetsu. I mention these because 2 of these blades are great grade while 1 is just a grade blade. Now it's been confirmed that turning a sword into a black blade can increase the grade rank. So whenever Zoro finally turns Enma and the Wado Ichimonji into black blades, they will then become supreme grade blades, meaning that the number will increase from 12 to 14. Let's talk about the Shodai Kitetsu because it's currently Zoro's lowest graded blade, and a lot of individuals were upset that Zoro gave up Shusui in order to keep the Shodai Kitetsu. There's a couple of factors for this. I think that this happened out of respect of Ryuma, and so that Zoro he could turn all 3 of his blades black on his own. I will say, whenever we got introduced to the Nidai Kitetsu, we speculated that Zoro would then switch that blade because that would mean he would have 3 great grade blades, and if he turned them black, they would all improve to supreme grade. However, Zoro during Wano, he just got Enma. Maybe Oda didn't want him to get another blade. I'm not entirely sure. He also could have something else in store for Zoro and get an even better blade. Honestly, I have no clue how I feel about this because on one hand, if Zoro keeps the swords he has now and became the world's strongest swordsman, that would mean he did it with lesser equipment. But on the other hand, shouldn't the world's strongest have 3 supreme grade blades? I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel about this in the comment section below. The reason why Tashigi is connected to supreme grade blades is because it's her goal to collect all the famous swords that have fallen into the hands of evil men around the world, and this includes the supreme grade blades. Now, she's probably gotten a lot stronger since then, but the strongest version of Tashigi we've seen was at Punk Hazard, and last time I checked, that was when she lost to Monet. So if she lost her back then, well then what the heck is she gonna do against other swordsmen? I don't want to spoil any of the users since I'll talk about them later, but she's got a lot of monsters to defeat if she wants those blades, and I love Tashigi, but unless she gets an awakening or something, she's going to get clapped by all these other swordsmen. But there are 12 supreme grade blades, and they are the highest quality of blades in the world. Only 5 of the 12 supreme grade blades have been revealed, and so far Zoro has clashed against 3 of them. I'll also give my speculations for the last 7 during this video, but I'm confident I can name about 4 of them, and the last 3, well, I have no clue who those users are. But if you guys have made it this far into the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. We pump out content all the time. The first supreme grade is Yoru, and this is wielded by Mihawk. Something that's special about this blade is that out of all the supreme ones that we know of, this is the only blade that is a black blade, which is the pinnacle of swordsmanship. The first time we saw it used was in chapter 49. However, the first time we actually get to see the blade was in chapter 50. It's a western looking sword resembling an oversized Krieg Messer, and due to the lacking of a scabbard, Mihawk holds Yoru upside down against his back. The next blade is the Shodai Kitetsu, which is wielded by Nusjuro. Now technically it's not confirmed that he's the user, however Zoro did clash against Nusjuro and Egghead, who is wielding a Kitetsu. We know that Zoro has the Sendai and the Nidai is in Wano, so unless Nusjuro is using an inferior version of Zoro, which wouldn't make much sense because he is a member of the Gorosei, Nusjuro, he is the wielder of the Shodai Kitetsu. It was first mentioned in chapter 97, but we first saw it in chapter 233. It is said to be a cursed blade, but we know technically those don't actually exist, and that's all the information we have about the Shodai Kitetsu because, well, we really haven't seen any of it. Next is Whitebeard's Mura Kumagiri, and that's going to be the only time that I say it because man, it's a mouthful. But this is a Naginata, which the literal meaning is cleaving blade. It's a halberd consisting of a wooden shaft and a curved slender blade on the end, and the first appearance of this blade was in chapter 434 when Whitebeard clashed against Shanks on his ship. Another blade that we don't really know much about is Roger's Ace. It is a slightly curved blade with a yellow hilt and a golden guard. We saw it in One Piece chapter 0, which is the chapter that introduced Shiki into the canon of the story and a way to give more context for the movie Strong World. Roger used Ace to clash against Whitebeard, which is one of the only times we've ever seen two supreme grade blades clash, and pay attention to this statement because it may have some relevance to another character in this video. But the last and most recent supreme grade blade that we know of is the Yakuza Kaisen, and this is used by Fujitora. It was recently revealed in SBS 109, but we did see the blade first used in chapter 701. We haven't really seen Fujitora use the blade for combat as much as I would like. If anything, we saw him use it more to summon meteors, but it's a cane sword that Fujitora uses for both combat and assisting him while he walks. Now these next four, they aren't confirmed, but I think they have supreme grade blades, and I'll give a quick explanation why. Shanks' sword is named Griffin, and we've seen it introduced in chapter 234. Roger had a supreme grade blade, and Shanks uses the same attack that Roger did. His rival has a supreme grade, and another Yonko and Whitebeard did as well. And since a lot of people believe that Shanks is the strongest character in this series, I think he should have a supreme grade blade. The next character is Garland, whose blade is unknown, but Garland being the supreme commander of the Holy Knights and distinguishing himself at God Valley makes sense for me why he'd have a supreme grade blade. Rayleigh's another character whose sword grade is unknown. He's a little bit interesting because if you look at Prime Rayleigh, he used a blade that is similar to Shanks. However, in his older years, he isn't using the same blade, and this could be that maybe he gave Griffin to Shanks. But I'm saying Rayleigh because he's the right hand of the Pirate King. He was known as the Dark King, and he's Zoro's parallel, so hey, why not? Lastly, I'll say that Shiryu has a supreme grade blade, and this is because of Blackbeard, Luffy, and Zoro. Blackbeard and Luffy, they have fruits that are legendary and they go against each other, and Zoro's going to make swords that are supreme grade, so if he goes against Shiryu, why shouldn't his blade be a supreme grade as well? Now for these last three, they're shots in the dark, and honestly, I have no clue who should be the wielders of these blades. I'm gonna say Rocks because this is just based off of if he were to be a swordsman, he wanted to be the ruler of the world, and he was on the level of people like Whitebeard, Garp, and Roger, and some even argue that he was stronger. Could also be Shiki, and hear me out. For the math to work, this would mean that Rocks was not a swordsman, but we know that Shiki used his original two swords, Oto and Kuragashi, as his legs for now. It took both Garp and Sengoku to take him down, and Shiki, he didn't have strong right hands like other legendary pirates, so maybe Oda decided to give Shiki two blades in order to make up for that. Lastly, I'll say Kaido's club, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I've already tried a couple times and I have been nowhere near close, but we know that this club is ungraded and it is able to withstand his conquerors. And this kind of reminds me of Jujutsu Kaisen, where individuals, they use cursed energy and imbue it into weapons, making sure not to do it abruptly or they'll break. I do want to mention there could also be someone that has yet to be revealed in the story. It could be somebody in Elbaf. It would be pretty cool to see someone like Loki having a supreme grade blade. But that's everything that we know about supreme grade blades and the different users that have been revealed, as well as some that I speculated. Let me know who you guys agree or disagree with in the comment section below. Let me know if there's somebody that I left off. But if you guys enjoy videos like these, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.